Okay, so let's dive right in. If you're anything like me, you probably have a device on your wrist at this very moment. It's tracking your steps, your sleep, your heart rate, all of it. We are swimming in data about our health, more than ever before. But what if all that data is missing the most important part of the story?
I mean, really, think about that for a second. With all the numbers and scores your watch spits out every day, your readiness score, your sleep score, what could possibly be left out?
Well, it turns out there's a massive blind spot. Our devices, they're incredible at capturing little pieces of information, but what they often fail to do is connect the dots to see the bigger picture of our overall health. Here's a great way to think about it. Your current tracker is kind of like this speedometer in your car. It tells you how fast you're going right now, which is definitely useful, but it's not going to tell you if your engine is about to overheat or if your alignment is slowly getting worse. You could have a fantastic sleep score of 85. You could crush your step goal. But just under the surface, you might be dealing with immense cognitive load or relational stress that your device just doesn't see. And that's the crucial point here. By only looking at these single, isolated data points, our current systems can actually make us think we're more stable than we are. They miss the early warning signs, the subtle drift towards dysregulation, because they simply aren't designed to look for this hidden instability. So, how do we fix this? Well, a new academic framework is proposing a really powerful solution, and it's all built around one central idea: coherence. Now, this isn't just about feeling calm, it's a whole new way of measuring how well our entire human system is functioning. Now, I know that definition sounds super technical, but stick with me. The framework defines coherence with incredible precision. This is not some vague wellness buzzword. It's treated as a structured, measurable property of our whole system. So let's break down what that actually means. It really boils down to four key components. First, coordinated organization. Are all the different parts of your system, your body, your mind, your emotions, working together smoothly? Second, temporal stability. Does that harmony actually last over time? Third, recovery quality. How well do you bounce back after stress hits? And finally, this is a big one, cross-domain consistency. Does the story from your biology match the story from your behavior and your feelings? In this diagram right here, this illustrates the entire system, the Multidomain Coherence Framework. I know it looks a little complex, but think of it as a roadmap. It's a really powerful new way to see our health, and we're going to break it down piece by piece, starting with those domains you see right up at the top. So the framework gets this whole person view by organizing our health into 7 distinct but totally interconnected domains. This is how we move beyond just tracking heart rate and steps. Just look at the sheer breadth here. Of course, it starts with the biological domain. That's your HRV, your sleep. But then it adds the cognitive, emotional, and behavioral domains. And it goes even further, bringing in our relational health, how we function with other people, our environmental health, and even our informational health, the quality of the media and content we're consuming. It's a truly holistic view. But the framework doesn't just put our health into boxes, it actually tracks our state as it changes over time. And this is where its power as an early warning system really comes into play. The model lets us see this progression. So you might start in a stable state. Everything's working well, you have plenty of reserve. But then you could enter a drifting state. This is that critical early warning phase where things start to get a little inconsistent, even before you feel a full-on breakdown. And if that continues, you can enter a dysregulated state, which is active instability. Okay, now for what I think is the most groundbreaking part of this entire framework. How does it actually see the problems that our current devices miss? Well, it uses a kind of secret sauce. And it all comes down to this number, 4. The framework introduces 4 special calculations called cross-domain metametrics. Their entire job is to look across all those different health domains and find patterns of hidden instability that would be completely invisible if you were only looking at one stream of data. So the first one is the cross-domain contradiction index. This metric is brilliant. It specifically looks for conflicts in your data. So for example, you might tell an app, yeah, I feel totally fine today, but your biological data, your heart rate variability, your sleep, is basically screaming that you are under immense strain. That contradiction? That's a massive red flag. And then there's this one, the masking load index. This quote just perfectly captures what it measures. It literally quantifies how much effort you're putting in just to keep up appearances, to perform well on the outside while you're actually struggling on the inside. This is the key. This is the metric for high-functioning burnout. It's how a system could finally tell the difference between someone who is genuinely healthy and stable
and someone who's just really, really good at hiding their underlying stress right up until the moment they can't anymore.
So, what does this all mean for the future? Why does a conceptual framework like this actually matter to you and me in the real world?
Well, the potential applications are huge. Imagine getting an alert on your phone that says you're in a drifting state days before you actually feel burnt out. Imagine a dashboard that finally combines your physiological, behavioral, and even your relational data into one single understandable model of your health. This is what this framework makes possible. To bring it all home, let's go back to our car analogy. Adopting this kind of framework is like upgrading from that simple speedometer to a complete onboard diagnostic system, one that doesn't just tell you your speed, but monitors your engine health, your electrical systems, and your structural integrity all at once.
Which leaves us with a final, really important question to consider. The next time you look down at your wrist and see a good sleep score or a high step count, just ask yourself, is that healthy data really telling the whole story?